Okay, I'm having pancakes. I went to Wally World and I bought a pancake thing again. That's the last right there. I used the power bank in my toaster oven. Buttermilk pancakes. All right. Rocky's just had some wet food. He's got some leftovers there, yeah. And Rocky's in a wet food stupor. He's not in a chicken coma this time, but he is in a wet food stupor. He goes into a wet food stupor after he eats his wet food. There he is. Isn't he beautiful? I'm getting my bed situation figured out to make it more comfortable. I took another cushion and cut it in half and put it there. Used it as a bolster so that I can get my head up more. I need to be elevated a bit when I sleep. So I've done that. That'll also give Rocky a place to lay down by the window. Anyway, I just want to talk about something I've noticed lately. I've been on Facebook Marketplace, and I've been looking at rental properties, not because I can afford one, but just out of curiosity, just to see where the market's at now. I've done that. I hope my voice is coming through. I don't know if it is or it isn't, but anyway, I have been looking, just out of curiosity. I took my coat off there. And what I've noticed is two things. Residential rent right now, as I'm sure most or all of you know, is through the roof. It's really bad. An apartment that used to rent for $700 5 years ago is now a $1,500 apartment. It's insane. It's just crazy. But commercial properties are rock bottom. I see office spaces for rent. I see storefronts for rent. $500. You know, they're at rock bottom. What that tells me is there's little to no competition for commercial properties right now. And in fact, the landlords will often put in their ad, not suitable for residential use or not to be lived in or whatever, because they know that some people, you know, we can't afford to pay residential rent, so we may decide we're going to rent an office space or a storefront and live in it. So they're letting people know right off the bat that that is not going to be allowed. But they're practically giving commercial spaces away in order to get tenants into them. And the only reason I can think for that is that there just isn't a lot of competition for commercial spaces right now. And that's the reason for the cheap rents. Anyway, that is troubling because small business is the backbone of many communities, pretty much of all communities. You know, the goods and services sold by small businesses and the money small businesses bring into a community are really vital for the community to survive. In other words, in order to have community, you've got to have small business. There's jobs provided by small business. Again, it's all a cash infusion into the community. And if you don't have that cash infusion into the community, it's similar to if you're bleeding. If you're bleeding out, you're bleeding to death, you need to have a transfusion. You go to the hospital and they pump you full of blood so that you don't bleed to death and die. Because once all your blood goes out of you, you die. And so, well, the same is true with cash in a small community, or in any community, really. You got to have a constant infusion of cash and keep cash circulating within the community in order to have a vital and sustainable economy. Again, it's another sign of the death of capitalism when we see this, you know. Now, on the positive side of it, if you're somebody who's starting a business, right now is probably, in some respects, the best of times, and in some respects, the worst of times. You're definitely going to get commercial rent cheap if you're starting a business. If you rent a storefront to sell your goods out of, you're going to get commercial rent for cheap. Whether it'll be sustainable, I don't know. You'll have to get into the right business to make it sustainable. You'll have to know your community, know what's needed in your community, and know what people are willing to part with what little money they still have for in the community. If you know that, and you find a suitable space, you know, the landlords right now are practically giving commercial space away just to get somebody in there. It's a desperate situation for them. So really, it's a renter's market if you're a commercial. If you're a commercial renter, it's a renter's market right now. Still, it doesn't bode well for the future of a lot of these small towns that there are so many empty storefronts and so many empty office spaces, and that landlords are that desperate to get them rented because there just isn't anybody coming around looking to rent them. That's not good. You know, that's not good at all. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say. You get that you notice trends. If you pay attention, you'll notice trends. And when you see things going in a certain way, you kind of have to know how to interpret it. And I've gotten that I'm not too bad at that, you know. And there are certain things I'm seeing right now that indicate to me that we are going into another depression. Not a recession, but a depression. In fact, I would even go so far as to say it's already happened. No politician has the balls to tell you the truth, but we're probably already in a depression. More than likely. In fact, they said they moved the goalposts, they did. Not that long ago they did, to make it so that things have to be even worse before they say it's a depression. So that tells me that it is a depression that we're in. You know, not a recession, a depression. Anyway, we're surviving. Each of us is doing our best, and we're surviving. And we're going to be okay for the most part. But we're going to suffer some. I'll tell you, the suffering is coming. If you aren't already experiencing it, it's coming. So brace yourself for that. Get as prepared as you can. Get as many things in place as you're able to and as you need to, so that you can look after yourself and your loved ones. Because it's going to be a rough ride for a while. That's all. All right, I got to get ready to go to work. We'll see you later.